Good evening and welcome to Have I Got News for You in a week when our politicians have shown a sad lack of restraint. In the news this week, following Tony Blair's example, William Hague visits a nursery school in Leeds to explain Conservative education policy. In Antarctica, after being given a torch for his birthday, a drunken David Attenborough reveals a sadistic streak. And in central London, a mugger makes the mistake of pouncing on Madonna after she's been kept up all night by the baby. On Ian Hislop's team is a TV presenter who says his worst moment was vomiting out of a 14th floor hotel window, although worse for the bloke on the 13th floor, looking up to see where the noise was coming from. Keith Chegwin.
Okay.
And with Paul Merton tonight, a former TV executive and current director of Camelot, so in the spirit of Camelot, we've decided not to pay him tonight, Michael Gray. Round one sees us right on the opening round front, both questions featuring a montage of this week's election news footage. Paul and Michael.
It's that moment that made you proud to be British. Here it comes.
Yeah.
Voila!
The Eric Cantona memorial blow.
Yeah. But it's our version of sort of Jack Ruby and Lee Harvey Oswald, isn't it? Where were you when Prescott lashed out? Great punch. I admired him greatly for doing that.
And where were you?
Where was I?
When he lashed
Oh,
out.
I've got an alibi. Don't drag me into it.
Yeah,
There's a marvellous look on his face because he threw the egg and just started laughing and going like that. Because he didn't, you know, any other politician, probably in the history of politics, certainly in this country, would never have sort of like just turned around and gone wallop, you know. Someone at the back said, "Stop it, John, he's not worth it." But by then, you see him, covered the ground well, 61-year-old, punches his weight, wallop, straight in.
I found this is absolutely true. I found this quote from an interview that Prescott did for The Guardian in 1994, and I'm absolutely quoting him verbatim. "Yes, I can get angry," says John Prescott, "and I often have more reason than most to do so because the machine tends to be working against me. I don't get a fair whack. I don't pursue vendettas or punch people on the nose," said John.
And what was Blair's reaction?
John will be John.
John is John, I think.
John is John.
Yeah.
Less word, fits in a headline.
And evermore shall be so, yeah.
Next week, Lennox Lewis versus Anne Widdecombe.
I know my money would be on.
Well, on you. It wouldn't be on anywhere else. What do you mean, your money?
And who else had a bad day apart from Prescott? Because it's
He
not
didn't have
only
a bad
Prescott.
day. He had a fantastic day.
He won the fight.
Yeah.
The jury's still out on that, isn't it, really?
No, they're not.
No, there are no charges against either of them, actually. The whole thing's been dropped. If you charged the man throwing the egg, then you'd have to charge Prescott.
That's right.
So I think they're both being released and saying, fair fight, it was a draw. And Blair's saying, tough on Prescott, tough on the causes. It's going to be a bit of a problem, though, when we're talking about yob culture in the future, isn't it? You notice he led with the left. Very un-New Labour.
One of the most exciting things that's happened in politics in years.
What, someone hitting someone?
Yes, someone hitting someone.
Yeah. So are we all in favour of John Prescott here?
No.
Yeah.
Right. Keith?
Yeah, I think...
No, I think he's a thug. I don't like the man.
He'd be very good on It's a Knockout.
He would, wouldn't he?
I was on Question Time with Prescott once, and the question was about boxing, and he was all in favour of it. And at the time, I agreed, which was lucky.
people probably sort of admire it in a way because he is a sort of like people sort of think that he's not being stage managed. He's an emotional man, and you know, okay, he lost control for that moment, but you know, I think some people sort of think that showed a human side to him.
Yeah, and when his finger's on the nuclear trigger, it'll be great. Boom!
Nuclear war isn't going to be triggered by somebody throwing an egg.
So what were the pop stars doing in that bit of VT? Because they've had something to do with Labour this week.
Well,
Britney hit me one more time.
Hit me one more time is what Britney Spears hit. I'm not quite sure.
She sent a message of support to Alistair Campbell, the only one he's going to get.
And Jerry Halliwell was in the Party Political, I think.
She was.
She was playing the spoon in the cup of tea.
And do you know how she described the Spice Girls, at least, in 1997?
Thatcher's children, wasn't it?
That's right, true Thatcherites. Yeah.
Well, no wonder she supports Blair, then.
So, what was supposed to have been on the front pages when Prescott, in fact, got all the coverage?
The Labour manifesto. But it was a clever piece of work by the Labour spin doctors that they managed to keep their own manifesto out of the newspaper.
Well, he was just lucky with Prescott, because otherwise that woman in the NHS hospital would have been on the front page.
There you go.
And another member of the public coming up and saying, "You're useless." And he would have gone boomf.
No, he'd have called John and said, "Get here right away." Yeah, no problem.
Bit of trouble, John. Pop over.
So this is round one of Labour's election battle with John Prescott to the fore. Speaking to a journalist in the bar at Real Theatre afterwards, John Prescott said, "I was attacked by an individual and I clearly defended myself," adding, "Did you just spill my pint?" After the Daily Star broke the story about Alistair Campbell's good luck message from Britney Spears, he chastised the paper, saying, "I think Daily Star readers will be more interested in issues like economic stability and schools than showbiz gossip." Wrong on so many levels. According to their new manifesto, if Labour win the next election, the BBC will be given major funding increases. Not that, according to BBC sources, this will in any way affect output over the forthcoming weeks. Ian and Keith, your bandwagon.
Hey.
And for flying Fionn, there's his dad,
Oh,
Oliver Letwin.
Letwin.
And that's someone else. This is the others. This is the balance question put in by the BBC.
Yes, well, we have to.
Yes, they have to. The Tories got into trouble because that man, Oliver Letwin, who no one had heard of before, made a remark about tax and then disappeared. He said that there might be 20 billion tax cuts, which isn't in the Tory manifesto, and it was a bit of a giveaway. And the Labour Party put out a poster saying, "Does anyone know Letwin's whereabouts?" But being the Labour Party, they spelt whereabouts wrong.
So, where has Hague succeeded where Prescott failed this week?
Well, he hasn't hit anyone.
Yeah.
But someone did throw an egg at Hague, but...
He avoided it.
That's right, and it hit a pensioner. And who's been helping Hague this week? Been rallying to his defence? No end.
Oh, his dad.
Dad.
Which wasn't... His dad said that Hague would probably lose. Which is a bit mean of your own dad, really.
He didn't say... It wasn't quite that bad. He said it would be a miracle if he won. And Fionn... We never quite know how to pronounce her name.
Well, why don't you find out, Ongu?
She sort of points out photo opportunities.
Right.
Yeah. So if they see a baby, this happens. Yeah.
Is that Hague on the right?
It looks like one baby trying to inflate another baby's head.
And the Lib Dems, we ought to mention them.
Well, they're the only party that said they're going to renationalise the railways. It's pretty sensible, isn't it?
Are you a Liberal Democrat?
No, that was balance.
All right. And so the most interesting part of Charles Kennedy's week, did you see this when he
Manifesto?
visited? Yes, was that interesting in any way?
Not really.
No. But he did go to a nursery in Islington and read them a story.
Did he hit any children?
Brown bear, what do you see?
Oh, no.
I see a red bud looking at me.
Brilliant. He can babysit for me anytime.
So this is the opposition party's attempt to steal a few headlines. All three main parties were out this week in their campaign buses. Labour's is called the Strong Leadership Bus, the Conservatives is called the Common Sense, and the Lib Dems is called the number 42 to Ilford. William Hague's aunt, Mary Jefferson, told the Sunday Times, if he can get Labour's majority down to less than 100, then William will have won. No doubt in the same way that Arsenal won the FA Cup last week. And we won a BAFTA. So, at the end of that round, the scores are like the eyes on a Picasso portrait, with 2 on each side. Round 2 features amusing tabloid headlines and the search to find some. Paul and Michael, your vicious spin. You lying lot.
Is this the ongoing story about the couple that they won the lottery but then they lost their ticket and they didn't claim in time? Is it that one?
It might well be that one, yes.
And this was a story alleging that Camelot, who wouldn't pay out or couldn't pay out because it was
were
after
too
time.
mean.
The rules. No, the Lottery Commission would not let us pay out.
Right.
Of course.
On legal advice.
Quite right.
But there is a newspaper. This is a newspaper story alleging that Camelot had actually paid somebody outside of the time period previously when they had lost their ticket.
So the Commission wouldn't let you pay?
No, not allowed to. Not allowed to. Not allowed to.
You're probably itching to pay that £3 million.
We would like to have done, yes.
Right.
Most
So you're a
definitely.
non-executive director?
Non-executive director.
What does that mean exactly?
Well, a bit like a bidet, you know. You don't know what it's for, but it adds a touch of class, you know. Ian will tell you later what a bidet is.
D-Day, wasn't that 2 days before D-Day?
So, yes, they didn't claim within the 30 days. That's right, isn't it?
Correct.
Which you have 30 days to claim if you've lost your ticket, but if you've found your ticket, you're allowed 180 days.
I'm not sure. I can't remember
Yeah,
exactly the
those are
rules.
the rules.
If you say so, I
Yes.
Have you got a lottery ticket? You seem to be very concerned.
And Camelot have offered them something, in fact.
Have they?
Counselling.
Have you been sitting in our board meetings?
Counselling.
Counselling. This is the news, then, that Camelot are to be sued by the Tots, who lost their lottery ticket. The Tots maintain that if Camelot had printed all the rules and regulations on the back of the ticket, the situation would never have arisen, presumably because any ticket that size would be impossible to get out of the shop door. According to one newspaper, the most common reason for a winner not claiming their prize is not checking the ticket, losing the ticket, putting it in a washing machine and having it eaten by the dog. How unlucky can one person get? Ian and Keith, your revolution stops with all men are bastards.
Isn't this an advertising campaign?
From divorce lawyers.
Divorce lawyers.
They've decided to go for positive headline-grabbing ads. So there's one ad called All Men Are Bastards, which goes up in women's toilets and women-only clubs. And then they've got another ad which says Ditch the Bitch, which goes up in men's toilets and in drinking holes and bars and things.
Drinking holes.
It's where wildebeest gather in the evening.
There's one just off Leicester Square.
Yeah.
You can't move a bison on a Friday night.
And who's complained about this?
I think everyone has, haven't they?
Well,
Relating people. I mean, this isn't a terribly positive attitude towards divorce, is it? It's just lawyers trying to get people to fight each other so they can make even more money.
It's going to start a trend, I think.
Do you think?
With insurance companies.
Really?
Have you been shunted from behind?
I think they already have those in certain telephone
travel.
kiosks. And how has the government tried to counter the increase in divorce this week?
They're going to send us all a magazine, aren't they?
That's right.
No.
Yes.
Married Life, it's called. It's a rough guide.
Married Life.
Yes.
The government's putting this out. Who's the editor? Robin Cook, is it?
And there's a quiz to test how well you know your partner.
No.
Starts off with when is her birthday. Tricky ones first. And what 2 records would your partner take on Desert Island? Which 2 would you take?
Agadoo, nice one.
Fantastic
And
choice.
the Birdie song. It'd be quite nice.
You wouldn't last long on that desert island, would you? You'd drive yourself mad.
No, but just imagine the things I could do. I could push that pineapple up a tree.
So nearly said something else then. You wouldn't choose anything by obvious pseudonym then?
Me?
Yeah. Obvious pseudonym have released a record called Keith Chegwin for a Day.
No.
They have. We can hear it,
Is it
sadly.
complimentary before you play it?
You've never heard that before?
No, never.
Is it ironic?
The new government-funded magazine Married Life has various bits of advice for newlyweds, one of which is to go to bed at the same time, usually when you hear the words, "and now for a party political broadcast." Which, trouble and strife, means at the end of this dialogue, well, both teams seem obsessed with having the same score, sharing as they do 4 points each. Round 3 then sees the odds on the panel getting the right answer shortened dramatically to 4 to 1, given that it's our odd one out round, just 1 per team this week, Paul and Michael. Your men of the moment are Billy Connolly, Matthew Grimson, Enid Blyton and Keith Chegwin.
Yes, what's the cricketer's name?
Matthew Grimson.
Matthew
Yes.
Gibbs, yeah, he got caught showing his middle stump in a photograph.
That team photograph last year?
Yes,
Yeah.
he was caught with his middle stump hanging out the back of the photograph.
And the photograph was printed up and nobody realised at the time.
I think he also had his penis there as well.
Billy Connolly's recently gone nude, hasn't he, to Comic Relief?
Comic Relief, yes.
And Keith, of course, did a nude show for Channel 5, whatever it was called, the Naked Show, whatever.
I only had a small part in the show.
But did
Did you watch it?
I'm afraid I missed it.
A lot of people who watched it missed it. It's one of those few cases where widescreen TV might do you a favour. Enid Blyton. Well, I think we know that Keith's gone nude. Billy Connolly's gone nude. I've got a feeling in the back of my mind that Enid Blyton was a naturist.
So you will have to pick.
Well, I say
one
the
out.
cricketer then because
He wasn't naked.
yeah,
Not
wasn't-
intentionally.
He wasn't completely naked.
Is the wrong answer.
Oh well, then it's Enid Blyton then.
Is the right answer. Very good.
Because all the others have exposed themselves.
They have. They've exposed themselves in front of camera.
Oh, yeah.
With the exception of Enid Blyton. She liked to play tennis naked.
Did she?
Yes. So this Naked Jungle programme then, Keith.
Did you watch it?
I didn't see it. We did try to get tapes of it, actually, but we were told that the person who presented it wouldn't allow it.
That's me.
To be shown, yeah. Apart from other people.
Did you want to show it around the office, or was it for here?
We just wanted to show it to the nation, so here it is.
That's not me.
British television is the best in the world, isn't it?
Did Channel 5 not suggest that you wear shorts, though, and you said, no, I want to go naked?
No, they said wear shorts. When I got there and found out they were genuine naturists, I thought, sod it, why not? Who cares? 11 o'clock at night, Tuesday.
Well,
It's
all
a
that-
massive viewing
You
figures.
say genuine naturist, what is a fake naturist? Like wear a hat without telling anybody. Skin-tight gloves, they'll never know.
But did he get complaints?
Oh, the Daily Mail had a go at me.
You took over from him as the nation's top pornographer, didn't you?
That's
Have you taken your clothes off then?
No, he ran
he's
Channel
pointing
4.
at Michael, I think.
Oh,
Yes, he used to be called pornographer.
I was the
chief.
pornographer in chief. I think that mantle has been passed on.
Do you refute the allegation?
Absolutely, yes. Pornography on British terrestrial free-to-air television is a crime.
So,
But documentaries and hard-hitting exposés of the sex industry, not
If it's
really.
essential to the plot, it's fine,
Yeah.
yes.
yeah, so Matthew Grimson, you also mentioned the Leicestershire cricketer. He posed for this team photo. There he is. And what did he do at the end of last season?
Did he retire?
He did retire, yes. He went to teach in a public school.
Glad to see standards haven't dropped since my day.
Was he headhunted?
Yes, the answer is that they've all exposed themselves in front of a camera with the exception of Enid Blyton, who nevertheless enjoyed the odd game of naked tennis. During her career, she produced over 700 books for children and one poster for Athena. According to The Scotsman, in the public eye, Billy Connolly is brash, funny and confident, but in private, there's a part of him that's forever 4 years old. And now we've all seen it. Ian and Keith, your teenage heartthrobs are Michael Heseltine, George Bush, Sean Woodward and Alfred Pennyworth.
I think this is a Butler question, because Sean Woodward, who's the Tory who's become a Labour MP for St Helens, the big joke about him is that he's so left-wing he's got a butler. And his wife's a millionaire Sainsbury, and he'd never been to St Helens before. But anyway, he's the new Labour MP, or the new candidate. He'll probably get in. Is Alfred the butler from Batman?
Alfred, yes.
Yes.
Michael Heseltine is very rich, and he's got a butler. And George Bush, I think, was brought up with a butler. So they've all had butlers except Alfred, who is a butler.
Is the right answer.
Very good.
Yeah.
Any extra points for naming the actor who played the butler?
Provided you get the TV and film, yes.
Right, Michael Gough in film,
Very
and
good.
in TV, Alan Napier.
And an extra 40...
That's right, isn't it?
an extra 45 points if you can tell me who the cousin of Alan Napier is.
Oh, no, I don't know. He was an English actor, clear. I know, with the white moustache. Who his cousin was, I don't know.
Neville Chamberlain.
Really?
Was he really?
You could have got 45 points there.
I surprised you with Alan Napier, though. It's not very impressive, but there we are.
I love this game. When I finally get a question right, Paul gets 2 more points.
Still, that's showbiz. So
How would you know?
Sean Woodward, then. Yes, you mentioned him. He's defected, of course, from the Tory party. For what reason?
He wants to be in government.
Yes. He's been parachuted, I think that's the expression, isn't it?
Well, the Labour Party denying this, they say there was a free and open selection for who do you want for, the St Helens constituency. Do you want a millionaire who's never been there before? Of course you do. He's your first choice.
He has now been there. He went there on Wednesday, though. He went to St Helens.
Right, well, they should vote for him then.
Yeah. Although he hasn't really known it long enough to prepare for the general knowledge quiz that he was given about the area on Newsnight.
Do you know who St Bernard is?
Let's play the pub quiz.
Do you know who St Bernard is?
Go on.
The St Helens mascot.
Well, no, this is. Oh.
Oh, brilliant.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's obviously a big rugby league fan, you can tell. Sean Woodward's brother, Leslie, has had an even more eventful 18 months. According to one newspaper, for Leslie's 40th birthday, Sean arranged for him to have a sex change operation, which was a surprise to Leslie, as he'd only asked for a CD.
What did it cost to have a sex change operation?
I don't know how much money it costs. Keith, have you had a sex change ever?
OK.
But look, judging by your programme on Channel 5, you're nearly there, really.
The appeal of our final missing words round can never be overestimated. A clutch of headlines grabbed from their articles, including some more or fewer from this week's guest publication, the ever-popular Religious Conference Manager. So, prepare for what are fun to be around?
Seventh-day Adventists.
Religious conference managers.
Religious Conference Managers is the right answer. Next, finger lost in what?
Methodist.
Battle with horse.
Dyke. Little boy lost it.
Definitely.
No letterbox is the answer.
Oh, they can be nasty.
They can. This is a schoolboy's finger which was sliced off by his friend's letterbox, who then hoovered it up in case his mother found it. Next, Portillo says what to what?
Foo to goose.
Heaven to Betsy.
Hello to sailor.
Knickers to roller coaster is in fact the right answer.
Is he losing it?
No, this is Michael Portillo, who chose not to indulge in the joys of Splash Canyon, which is a ride in a theme park before you get any other idea. Next, Blair doesn't what, says Agent?
He doesn't do sincere.
Doesn't pay his paper bills on time.
No. I'm sure he does.
Doesn't do panto.
Oh, but he does, really. Oh, yes, he does.
Doesn't need minders. And finally, parasitic worms are what?
Found on civil list. Are eating each other.
It is to do with eating.
Oh, good for you.
Oh, good for you.
good
Is the
for
right
you.
answer.
Yeah.
Very good. Yes. What is an example of a parasitic worm?
Oh, where do we begin?
Let's try Camelot.
Which chance remarks mean at the end of tonight's Bagatelle, this week's lottery losers are Ian and Keith with 7. This week's Camelot directors are Paul and Michael with 9.
Well done.
But before we give them the rest of the night off, the domestic chore of our caption competition.
Your place or mine?
Could you speak up? I'm hard of herring.
Oh, please stop the fish puns.
Okay,
You're giving me a haddock.
I think we should move on to the next one quite quickly.
So anyway, he came in with a right and the left came straight across.
On which energetic note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Keith Chegwin, Paul Merton and Michael Grade. And I leave you with news of disaster in the North Sea as John Prescott and Anne Widdecombe launch their campaigns on the same oil rig. Tony Blair regrets allowing Peter Mandelson and his partner Ronaldo to design Labour's election posters. And in Inverness, there are fears that the local distillery is polluting the nearby river. Good night.
Never fear, the comedy is still coming here in UK TV documentary. We go even further back in time. Have I Got 2000 for You is on the way next.